Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session on advanced topics. Probability, permutation, combination are the two main topics that we're going to discuss today. We sent out a small teaser video for this session where we received huge response. We did find out really that what we thought was correct. People really are scared of this topic. So come into the chat box. This is going to be a very, very interactive session. Keep talking to me. You're going to have a lot more fun. Tell me if you agree, if you really have that fear of this topic. Everybody who's attending here right now, we are all going to be together in this journey. I'm going to read every single comment. And I promise that on the other side of the session, by the time we'll be done, a lot of your fear will have gone. That is the target I've set upon myself today. So, welcome to this session again. I will just take a second to introduce myself. I am your host for today, Shweta Koshija. I am a quant expert at e-GMAT. Now, our agenda today, as I said, is to help you solve P&C and probability questions using a structured approach. So, that's the word of the day. Let me just start a complete share. Okay. So, using a structured approach means what? It will not be as if your approach will be different for every single question that you're going to see. It's not like, okay, I see this kind of a question, this is how I need to think. Now, my question has changed. What is the new approach I need? No. Once you build the right concepts, which is your foundation, on that then you learn how to apply those concepts. So that is when you learn application. So it'll be a proper structure that you will witness in the session today, because just how we think the best way to study is, that's how this particular session has been designed. So the purpose again is to help you understand that the key to acing GMAT Quant is not doing thousands or 10,000 of questions. No, it's not in the number. One, you need sound understanding of basics. Your basics should be rock solid. There should be no confusion as to what is probability, or what happens when I say, okay, what is the probability that this or that happens. So that's a very, very basic concept. I had tested you on that in the teaser as well. So if you haven't checked that out, you can go back, although now you're here. So then we'll come to this structured approach. So it's a two-step thing: foundation first, then build upon that foundation. It's just like how buildings are made. Okay, so this is an important slide. Pay very close attention to this. This is the flow of the session. What are we going to do first? What next? And so on. First, we'll warm ourselves up. We've just come into the session. We might be doing something else before the session. We're not yet into the mood really of studying. This will bring you in the mood. You will warm up through 5 questions. Now, these will be easy because we're just warming up. This is 500, 600 level. And this is where really the questions will just be conceptual. So it won't be as if a lot of application styles or a lot of thinking will not have to go. If you know the concepts, you should be able to do them. So through the solutions of these, we will be revising the concepts. So in case you've forgotten things, you're a little rusted about the concepts here, don't worry, we will discuss the solutions and your concepts will come back. What will happen really is you will do all 5 questions back to back without us discussing, and then we'll discuss them one by one and your concepts will keep coming back. After this, since your concepts will be back, your foundation will have been laid, it'll be time for you to apply for the first time. So this is where I usually get very excited. Had I been on that side and attending this session, I would be interested to see that, okay, now that I've revised my concepts, let me see how I can apply, or am I able to apply. So this first sprint of questions will have 3, and these are harder than what you had in the warm-up. So this time it will be 600 to 700 level. After sprint 1, there's one more. It doesn't end there because we still haven't gotten to the highest level questions. This is going to be 3 more questions, 2 or 3 700 plus level questions. Now, warm up, I said you'll see all questions first and then the solutions, but that will not happen in the sprint. In the sprint, you do one question, then we discuss it. Then you do it, then we discuss it. Why? Because each question will teach you how to think, how to apply, how to approach a question. Whatever you learn, for example, from question number 1, and I explain that to you, you will be able to apply that in question number 2. And then I'll explain again, okay, this is where you faltered or you got caught in the trap I laid for you. Then the next question, you will be more careful. So throughout every single question, you will get feedback and there will be takeaways for you. Make sure you keep noting down where exactly you falter. Okay, so each of you might falter on different questions. I might make a mistake because I did not read the question properly. You might make a mistake because you read it, because but when you were doing it, you did not take it through. You wrote one step, but then you didn't take it through. So your reason is different from my reason. So when I'll make a note of that, I will write down my reason. That'll give me pointers for how to get better after the session. Okay, I hope everybody is clear with what the flow is going to be. Faltering points, as I said, throughout. I'm going to tell you, okay, this question, this is what people typically do. And I'm going to tell you, okay, if you mark this, did you do that? And then you will confirm my hypothesis through our chat here. With this, it's time for the first part of the session. As I said, we'll first warm up. So this is going to be basic questions on permutation, combination, and probability. You will get feedback on your current conceptual understanding, not application. Solutions we will discuss, but they won't be super detailed because these are basic questions. Now, what you have to do is you will see 5 questions, as I said. There will be polls in the chat here. Okay, you click on the link of that poll, you'll go to a different window, mark your answer, come back here. No answers, please, in the chat. Because when you just say A or B or whatever, then somebody else who's still solving it, and maybe that person was leaning towards a C, that person will get affected by your A or your B. And you don't want to do that because you don't want that to happen to yourself, right? So let everybody get a very fair attempt at this. Let everybody do it their way, and then when we come back, we'll discuss. So the poll should be here in seconds. Just click on that, and I'll see you after these 5 questions. All right, so I got a little request here that if possible, we should be discussing every single question one by one, and that also works pretty fine. So we can discuss it one by one. That way, you will also not have to wait So say people are done with 4 questions and then the others are still there, you will not have to wait. So I think that will be good. Now let's see the accuracy for this question. I have gotten that it is 74%. That means 74% of you got this question correct. Let me show you what this was, and let's discuss it nice and slow. Okay, Ria says, "Can we get the recording?" Ria, this will be on YouTube, so you can watch it how as many times as you want. Emanuela, yeah, we're doing one question at a time now. It is normal, so we just change the plan slightly. All right, so let's come here and discuss this question. So, Juhi, if you could also tell me what was the next most popular choice? What did people mark next most popular? All right, here. In how many ways can we form a 3 letter password using the letters from this set? So, what do you have? You have 6 letters A, B, C, D, E, F, and you want to form a 3 letter password. That means you don't want all six, you have to use three out of these, but you're not free. What you need to do is you need to have the last letter as a vowel. So that's a condition that you have, that okay, I need a 3 letter password, but can it be any 3 letters in the world? No, it can't be any 3 letters. The last one has to be a vowel. Now how do I think about this? Look, how many vowels do I have? First of all, I have A and E. I have two of them, right, out of these six. So how do I select that the last one is one of these two? Look, the first two places you're free, the first letter and the second letter you're free. It's only the third letter that you have to take care of. So how many possibilities do you have for the first letter? Six. You could use any of the 6 letters. Now, once that is done, how many possibilities for the second letter? That's also six, because who said you can't repeat letters? If you did that, if you assumed that the next one should be a five because you can't repeat, then that was your assumption. An assumption is a big killer on the GMAT. They know you assume stuff and they know you're going to get it wrong that way. The last one, of course, you just have two choices. So the last place has into two there. Why are we multiplying really? Because there's an and. This is an important step. Listen, whenever things happen in a sequence, how many choices for the first place? 6 choices. That is done. Now, and how many for the second? 6. And how many for the third? 2. So it's an and. It's not as if I'm saying, 6 choices for the first place, or 6 choices for the second place, or I don't have that choice. All of that is happening one after the other. So you're multiplying. You can always, speak out what you're doing when you're trying to solve. And if you say an and, you multiply. If you say an or, you add. You're going to see that applied a lot more, and then you'll feel more confident. Okay, so the answer here is 72. The correct answer therefore is E. Simple counting happened. Counting what? Counting possibilities for every single place. I had 3 digits, I had, sorry, 3 places, 3 letters I had to use. I counted how many possibilities there are for each. That's it. That was the first concept that you saw here. Now, next question will be in the poll, one question at a time, as we've decided. I hope everybody is clear about this one. We anyway had a pretty high accuracy, but the 26% of you who got this wrong, I hope you've understood this now, because you will need this multiplication further. The link should be here in seconds. All the best. Good energy, Blaze. The pace of the session is being directed by how you guys respond. So the moment we have enough votes for any question, we start discussing. So we should have the accuracy for this one real soon. Let's start discussing meanwhile. So warm up question number 2. What did you have here? So you have a junior school, class A, class B. Okay, there you have the data. Check the chat, everybody. 90% accuracy. So good. Only 10% people got this wrong and they got trapped in B. So the wrong choice is B, and that was the most popular. Let's see now what happened here. So, in a junior school, class A has 6 boys, 4 girls, 10 students, while class B has 8 boys, 7 girls, 15 students. In how many ways can a teacher select exactly one student from each of the two classes? So, there'll be one student from A, one student from B to form a team of one boy and one girl. Okay, so it's not just selecting one student here and one student there. There is this added condition that one of them has to be a boy and the other one has to be a girl. If it was just one student from here and there, I encourage you to write the answer in the chat. What would the answer then be? I don't care about the final calculation, but how we would do that is what I care about. Okay, continuing with this one. Here, what I want is one boy, one girl. Now, the boy could come from class A, the girl could come from class B, or the reverse could also happen. Girl from class A and boy from class B. So, these are two possibilities. Pay very close attention to the or that I said. There's a choice there. Now, see there. Okay, Andre says it will be D in that case. Let's see. So, case one, where the boy comes from A boy means the boy coming from A, and the girl comes from B, or the girl from A, the boy from B. Now, first case, if I focus, what's is there an or there? No, it's an and. How is it an and? The boy from A and the girl from B. Now, what did I say? If it's an and, multiply. If it's an or, add. So, look at the first case then. Boy coming from A, how many boys do I even have in class A? 6. And I am choosing 1 from there. So 6C1. And then the girl is coming from B. I have 7 girls here and 1 comes from there. 7C1. So I'm choosing 1 girl out of 7. C for combination. Combination is when you're selecting. You're not arranging anything. And because there's an and, it's multiplication. And then this or becomes a plus. The second one is exactly the same, girl from A, so 4C1, boy from B, 8C1, and you multiply. And then it's just about calculation. The answer is D. So, oh, Andre, you were telling me the answer for this one then. What I had asked to put in the chat was, what if this condition was not there of one boy, one girl? So Vivek says it would be 10C1 plus 15C1. Yes, Vivek. No, you're doing one student from A or one student from B. Think again. Okay, Blaze, you're explaining this answer only again. Nobody's answering what I wanted. I never said, ask, tell me the answer for this one. This I'm discussing anyway. I said, what if I didn't want one boy, one girl? I just wanted one student from class A and one student from class B. Come on. Pay close attention to what I'm asking first and then put the answer. This one I'm anyway discussing. I'll wait for 10 more seconds. Emanuela, you have got this, yes. Because it's really 10C1 and 15C1. You select one from these 10 and one from those. So it's 150 in that case. Good. I remember your name, Emanuela. Were you there in another session? Yes, Vivek, you also got it. See how, Vivek, I said it's important that you speak it out? Had you spoken it out, you would have said an and you would not have written plus there because you took or. Okay, yeah. Pushpas, I also remember you from another session. Good to have you people here. Okay, now it's time to go into the next warm up question. The poll will be here. All the best. Okay, we have enough responses. Accuracy data will be here real soon. Yeah, Vanshika, you're right. You've responded now. How? Okay, 80% accuracy, as you all can see in the chat. So that's also good. Only 20% of you got this wrong, but it's not as good as question number two was. So let's see what happened here. Warm up question two. Question three. In a toss of three coins, what is the probability of getting at least one head? So, at least one head means what? One head, or two heads, or all three heads. You can't get four heads because the tosses were only three. So, at least one head would mean one or more. Now, it's actually three cases. What was case one again? One head, or two heads, or three heads. So, three cases. But it's easier to think of the flip side. What if I don't have this? Don't have what? What I want. So I don't have at least one head. Then what does that mean? I have no heads at all. And if I don't have any head at all, then in those three tosses, all three have to be tails. So that way it's just one case. So the cases that I want are three, but the flip case is only one. Now, if you're wondering how will the flip case help, well, that there's a very beautiful result, that probability of getting any event and the probability of the non-event, the flip side, they add up to 1. What that means is, if I want to find probability of getting at least one head, I can find probability of getting no head, and then I can subtract that from 1, because both of them will total up to 1. That's the best way to do this, because that way it's only one case to deal with. So here, my non-event, which was all three tails, what is the probability for that? If total possible events are 8, now another task for you, come in the chat, tell me why 8, how do we get 8 as the total possibilities? Now the no head case is only one. You can only have t. This is obvious. Even if you don't think of anything, if you want all of them to be the same, even if it was 200 tosses and you wanted all of them to be tails, there would be only one favorable outcome. So that one is what you have here. So the probability of the non-event is 1 by 8. And because I said they add up to 1, the probability of the event that I want is 1 minus 1 by 8, 7 by 8. Okay, good. Now you people are responding real fast. So Mahboob is correct. Blaze is correct. 2 to the power 3 is how I am getting the total number of outcomes. 2 because each toss has two possibilities, head, tail, and 3 because it's 2 into 2 into 2 because it was 3 tosses. If it was 10 tosses, my total outcomes would be 2 to the power 10. So very well done here. So what did you need? What was the main point? Considering all cases is important. If you don't go to the flip side, and if you really do the one head or two heads or three heads, then you have to make sure you consider all three cases. Even if you miss one, it's wrong. Okay, so you need to understand when it is better to do the reverse, when it is to do the flip side, the non-event. Whichever one has fewer cases for you, you'll do that. Naturally, you want to save time, you want to get the answer correct, but in time. You don't have indefinite time in the exam, right? So we have to be careful of the correct methods, the fast methods, not shortcuts. Never mix that. This is not a shortcut, this is a smart structured approach. We do not believe in shortcuts, they don't work every time. Okay, with that point, now we'll go into warm up question number 4. Link should be here. All the best. Okay, so the smile is because the accuracy is very nice. 93% accuracy this time. Very well done. Only 7% of you got this wrong. So, yeah, all right, let's discuss warm up question number 4. What is the chat saying? Woober, it's okay, you joined late. But yeah, reason for not showing the question on screen so that people don't just solve it here and give the answer in the chat only. That way you affect so many people, just how Mahboob did. Okay, calling you out so you don't do it. Warm up question number 4. A number is randomly selected from the first 48 positive integers. Natural numbers are positive integers. That's the language you would see. What is the probability that this number is divisible by both 3 and 5? Probability of the number being divisible by two numbers, 3 and 5. Now, first of all, let's try to understand what are these numbers. If a number is divisible by both 3 and 5, it is divisible by 15. Tell me in the chat how. How did I get 15? What is the logic behind this? What if I had numbers divisible by both 2 and 3, or numbers divisible by 2 and 4? What is really happening here? By the time you tell that, I'm going to continue. Okay, so numbers that are divisible by 15 is what I'm looking for out of 48 natural numbers or positive integers, which is what 1, 2, 3, everything till 48. LCM is correct. Good. You people are very, very quick. So it's not multiplying 3 and 5. That's what I wanted to come out. Not that if I'm doing LCM of 2 and 4, then you just do 2 times 4, 8. That'll be wrong. LCM of 2 and 4 will be 4. That'll be correct. Okay, coming back here, then I want to find out numbers that are divisible by 15. That is what my favorable outcomes are. That's what I want. And what are my total outcomes? That is all of the 48 numbers that there are. So probability is what? It's just favorable outcomes upon total. So 3 are favorable. 3 multiples of 15 I have only. There's 15, there's 30, there's 45, and total are 48. Correct answer is 1 by 16. So yes, the answer is correct. Very, very well done, everyone. This was very good. uh, Bookmark my brain. No answers here. Well, I had started discussing, so you were safe, but not otherwise. Same goes for you, Priyanshu. Okay, with this, we are going into the last warm up question. You guys are a very smart batch. You have very high accuracies. So I'm all the more excited to see what happens when we get to the harder questions. With this, let's go into warm up question 5. All the best. Okay, coming to question number 5, sab badhiya, but accuracy is low. It's 53% this time. I don't know how many of you actually thought it was the same question and just marked the same answer or something, but it was different because of the or. So I didn't want how many numbers are divisible by both, but or. Now, the mistake could also be that you didn't know the concept behind or, that what do you do? Because till now, you've only heard me saying when there's an or, add. When there's an or, add. If you did that, then this is for you. This is the next level learning, that you don't just add, there is something more that you need to do. So that just means we have this little conceptual gap. Vivek got trapped there. Okay, let's see. 3 or 5, so we understand that it's either all of the multiples of 3 that we want, or the multiples of 5. But did you think about multiples of 15? Did you not realize that multiples of 15 will come in both of the lists? Yes, Shagun also added. Saksham said, yeah, people rushed and didn't notice. I think they did notice, but they just added. Yeah. So, yeah, again, what about this? People who did this wrong, did you even think about the multiples of 15 this time? I just showed you the multiples of 15 in the previous question. Why? Because I thought that would be like a little hint when you just add, when you just think favorable outcomes are multiples of 3 and those of 5, because you're double counting multiples of 15. Yes, we have to subtract, Priyanshu. That is correct. So numbers divisible by 3 plus divisible by 5 minus divisible by both. Why? Because I counted 15 in both of them. So I've counted it twice, but I want it once. So once I subtract, it goes away once. Now, divisible by 3, very simple. See how many multiples of 3 there are. There are 16. How many multiples of 5? 9. How many by 15? 3. Just put them in the formula. Your favorable outcomes are 16 plus 9 minus 3, not just 16 plus 9. And the answer is 11 by 24. Shagun says, no, so you didn't realize this. Good, but it's okay. It's always a good learning. So, with this is the last warm up question. Tell me now, do you feel a little bit more back in the flow? That, I had forgotten what or was, I had forgotten what and was, I had even forgotten favorable or whatever. How are you feeling now that you've done the warm up? Do you feel ready for the sprint? That's what is coming next. I'll have to put you to, I'll put you to test them. You will put yourself to test. You'll see what you're getting now that we revised. Come on. So, meanwhile, I'll talk about what the feedback from this warm up is. So you have to make sure that you have 200% clarity in your concepts, not even 100%. Because if anything goes wrong in the concepts, it's like your foundation is weak. You cannot have a strong building on a weak foundation. That's impossible. Okay, so there should be no gaps there, bad cement, or I'm not very sure how the whole construction business works, but there should be no gaps there. There should be no stones left unturned. You have to be absolutely sure of the security. So, yeah. All right, cool. So if you scored less than 100% here, that means even if you got one question wrong, it means that particular thing was a conceptual gap for you. You need to go back and work on those concepts, because when it comes to GMAT style questions, they're going to be harder. Okay. Now, this little experience that you've had till now is just the tip of the iceberg, where you've seen how the warm up works, how you just get back your concepts. You haven't yet applied. But let me tell you how this is all possible. It is possible for us to personalize the course for you when we get data about you. For example, I have not asked each of you individually, what did you get wrong? What did you get correct? But you have your data. You know that I made this mistake, so this is what I need to fix. Right now you are the one personalizing it for yourself. You have to keep making those notes. But Quant 2.0 can personalize the course for you completely from ground zero. You take a diagnostic quiz, we diagnose your issues, your abilities, and that's how we tell you, do this. You can skip that. You still want to do it. You're always free, but you don't need it. So you'll be told exactly what the course is for you. It'll be tailor made for you. So it's based on this expert architecture, very, very personalized, very, very engaging. We'll keep reinforcing you. Whatever you've learned, you will keep practicing that. You will get feedback. You will be able to track improvement. That, okay, when I did this diagnostic, I scored 40%. Now that I've done the concept, let me see the following quiz. Am I getting better? And this time when you get a 90% and 80%, you know you've improved more than double, right? So your score has more than doubled. So that way you'll be able to track continuously. You won't have to wait for the actual exam to see, did I improve? No. Every single step you're going to get your feedback. So diagnostic for starting abilities, then adaptive learning, it'll tell you what you need to do, what you are eligible to skip. Then you will be able to channelize your efforts in the right direction. If I know this is my weakness, I'll do this. No? If I don't know what is my weakness and I have, say, just 1 month of preparation left, then where all will I run? What all will I do? I don't have to worry about that. The course is going to tell me with constant feedback. So you have this link to access the Quant 2.0 trial. If you're already a student, you already know how it works. But if not, definitely take the trial. You take it and then you'll understand the whole beauty of this. Okay, with this now, I am also going to tell you what more we are bringing for you. So this is one session that we're doing today. We're doing advanced topics. We will do an RC masterclass, reading comprehension. I've seen a lot of people struggle with it, that, okay, even if I manage to do it, I take very long, or things like those. We'll give you strategies to save 3 minutes on each passage. Just think how much that is going to save you. So this is a session that we are coming with. This is going to be on the coming Saturday. If Juhi, you could put the exact time and date in the chat. And then the very next day, Sunday, we will have a geometry webinar. Now, here, this is a session that I am going to conduct, and you will see how process skills that you build today here are just so versatile. They're applicable everywhere. You will be able to make use of them here. For some people who have been with me in the previous session, also, you already know the power. You're going to see that in another session. So the details will come here very soon. Pushpa says passages confuse a lot. I totally understand. I was one of you. I used to get confused also, but these strategies work, believe me. So Vijay says, if I'm scoring 45, should I do only cementing quizzes or all the videos? So Vijay, the course first of all tells you what you need to do in terms of the files. For any extra guidance, you always have our strategy team, the strategy experts who help you plan your journey. You can write to our strategy team at support@e-gmat.com, and they would love to help you. Mahboob, this is your first session. I hope you're having fun, and I will see you in further sessions. With this, guys, it's time for us to go into sprint one, the first time that you are going to apply what you've learned. 3 questions, polls again. Now you all know you can't put answers in the chat. Each question we will solve once you are done. Okay, so time for, no, I'm not going to show you the question. Time for question number one. Poll should be here. All the best. Okay, time is up. We have a lot of responses already. Accuracy must be coming here. There are, oh, 80%. Very well. So the first application question you had and you aced it. Well done. So for the 20% people who got confused, I am still going to discuss this. Make sure you ask your questions here so that they get answered and you don't take anything out of the session, any doubts out of the session. So there are 5 red and 4 blue balls in basket A and 16 balls in basket B. So although I know red and blue in basket A, I have no idea about the color in basket B. It's just 16 balls. One ball is randomly picked from each basket, one from A, one from B. Probability of both the balls being blue is 1/4. So it is possible. If 1/4 is the probability and it's not zero, then that means basket B also has blue balls. If it didn't have any blue balls, then both being blue would really be impossible, right? So I at least know there are blue balls. Now that is what the question is: how many blue balls are there in the second basket? Do not assume that the other color has to be red. That could be anything. That assumption, my question here does not want it, but that assumption could get you wrong somewhere else. Okay, so what am I doing really? I am trying to find out how many the probability of getting both blue balls. Now, 9 balls are there in basket A and 16 balls are there in basket B. I want to find out blue, so I'm just taking that to be X for now. X blue balls in basket B. Now, if I want both to be blue, the probability of both to be blue, can I say that means first ball from basket A is blue and the ball from basket B is also blue? Because of the and, I will multiply. Now think about it one by one. That's it. Blue ball from basket A. What's the probability? 4 out of 9. I have 4 blue balls and 9 total. And for basket B, it's X out of 16. X is the number that I took. Now this probability I already know. This is 1 by 4. So it's a very simple equation to solve. It was just about setting up the equation. The solving part was not what the trick was. So the correct answer here is E. You just need to understand information, visualize the thing, what is happening. I can always imagine these baskets and see the balls in them. That's how I connect with probability, permutation, combination. I think that's why I have fun with this. It hasn't been able to scare me yet. Assuming necessary variables, don't unnecessarily take variables. For example, I've seen people say let X be the blue balls and Y be the red balls. I don't even know there are red. And Z be the other colored balls. So they took 3 variables when it wasn't even necessary. Do what is required. We should never go overboard in these things because it's very easy to then confuse ourselves. Okay, so with this, then this question is done. Time to go into the second question of this sprint. 9% I see selected option A. So that was the most popular incorrect choice. What happened in A? Tell me, the people who did mark A, come in the chat and tell me what was your reasoning. Where did you falter? Because it's important you find out where you falter. If you don't even find out what the problem is, then what will you fix? So finding out problems, creating an error log, the importance of which we can't stress on enough, that's very important. So yeah, okay, let's stay put to quant right now. We're going too much into the RC side. Right now, as I said, tell me why you marked A, but I'm still going to give you the poll for the next question. All the best. Okay, the accuracy is here 41%. So finally, we found one hard question. Let's see what happened here. Be very interactive on this one since you got it wrong. Keep asking questions, okay? So it looks intimidating. I agree. But is it difficult? No. It's about staying calm when you see such questions. That's one very important trait to have to be a successful GMAT aspirant. You will get your score if you're relaxed. Under panic, we make mistakes that we would never make otherwise. I have been there, done that. So relax every time you're approaching a question. There still are questions to go. Okay, so you just come back in your calm senses. Then let's discuss this nice and slow. So, what is happening? Yeah, this is a good question. A quiz game presents quizzes of progressive difficulty level to its players. So, they'll keep getting difficult, with D1 being the lowest difficulty, D2 the second lowest, and so on. So, D1, level 1, the lowest difficulty. This is the easiest. Then D2, then D3, and so on. That's what is happening. Each quiz has 10 questions. The game is designed such that if a player answers even one of those 10 questions wrong, what will happen? He has to take another quiz at the same difficulty level. So I'm doing D1. Okay, I do question one, two, three. I do everything till the first nine questions correctly. 10th question I do wrong, I'll have to do the whole quiz again. Okay, at the same difficulty level. Does not mean I'm getting the same questions. That it'll be easy for us to get it correct then. So even one wrong, repeat your quiz at the same level is what it means. Suppose a player answers all 10 questions correctly, then he goes to the next level. So that becomes, so for example, from D1 you go to D2. Now Tom starts playing this game. His probability of answering a question incorrectly in a D1 quiz, the first level quiz, the probability of getting any question wrong is 0.2. So it's a 20% chance of getting any question wrong. In a D2 quiz, it's 0.3, 30% chance. It feels logical also, no? If the difficulty level is increasing, the chances of getting a question wrong should go up. When it's a difficult question, I have a 30% chance of going wrong. If it's easy, I have a 20% chance of going wrong. So that way. What is the probability that after taking two quizzes, I'm not saying D1, D2, after taking two quizzes, he will not have progressed to D3? So this guy has taken two quizzes. Now, it is possible that the first one was D1, he cleared it, then he got D2, he cleared it, then the third one will be D3. But my question is, he should not have progressed to D3 after taking two quizzes. That means what? One of the two quizzes, one of the two levels before this, he definitely failed there. Otherwise, the third one, if he was successful at both of them, third one would have been a failure. Now, again, I'll show you how the event and the non event thing works. I hope you've understood what the whole question is about. Look closely now. Answering any question incorrectly in D1 and D2, this is what we had first of all. So, if I'm focusing on D1, the first quiz, 10 questions, probability of answering everything correctly will be what? Any question, one question correctly will be 1 minus 0.2. Getting it wrong was 20%, getting it correct is 80%. This is one question. So if this is for one question in D1, similarly getting one question correct in D2 will be 0.7 because 0.3 was getting it wrong. So only thing I've done till now is inferred how from getting incorrect to get into getting correct. Why am I interested in getting correct? Because that's how you progress to the next level. So I just wanted that clear. When I'll actually write down the probability to be calculated, you'll understand this better. But read questions in small chunks. This is a very important learning. When I read this, I think the intimidating factor that you had about this question, I hope it reduced a lot when I read it. It was like it wasn't as difficult as I thought. It just looked difficult. When you actually break everything down, you try to take out meaning from everything you read, things don't stay as hard as they looked earlier. Okay, so yeah, bookmark my brain has explained. You will progress to the third quiz only when you get all. Yes, so not progressing with one mind. Perfect, you're actually there. Oh, Prakhar, thank you. Oh, one compliment here. Okay, coming back with happiness. So here, what did I want? I wanted he will not have progress. So, bookmark my brain did this perfectly. It is easier to think of the flip side that he did progress because that will only be one case. What will that one case be? You know, acing the D1 level and then acing D2 level as well. If I don't do the flip side, there is so much to look at. What is that so much? Look here. I might have failed in D1 first time and second time. So both of my quizzes were D1 only. I failed. Another possibility, I failed in D1 the first time, but I cleared it the second time. Two quizzes gone. Third quiz will be D2 now then. It still will not be D3. So I'm still not there. Another possibility, I cleared D1, but I then failed in D2. I'm still not going into D3 in the third quiz. I'll have to repeat D2. So this way, when you see there are three possibilities. But when you see the flip side, the non-event, it's only one possibility. What? Clear D1, clear D2. So as I said, how do you decide between the event and the non-event? You decide according to whichever one has fewer cases. So the non-event here has fewer cases, and that's what I'm going to calculate. Now, how do I calculate that? Getting everything in D1 correct, everything in D2 correct. So for D1, one question correct was 0.8, D2 0.7. So that is one question. If I want to get everything in D1 correct, each question correct, then it is 0.8 into 0.8 and getting all of them correct for 10 questions. So I'm multiplying 0.8 with itself 10 times, which means 0.8 to the power 10. Same thing then for D2 also, and there's a multiplication between them because it's an and. So once you get the non-event probability, you just subtract that from 1, and there you have it. Okay, Mahbub, what is different? What is so different? I'm curious. So I hope everybody understood this. The answer is E and the accuracy was very low. So before I move on, I have to make sure that you've understood it. So come in the chat and tell me, have you understood what happened in this question? Tell me, why did you falter, and do you feel more confident that we should not be scared of the length of a question? What will it say? It's English. We're doing verbal, we know English. Never be intimidated. Go piece by piece. Keep taking your English into math. Create these little equations and make inferences, and you're going to have fun. Okay, waiting for some comments. I don't want to rush into the third question because this had a low accuracy. Come on. Okay, clear. Akshay says, why not D? What, why not D? I explained the whole solution. You should know why, how I came to E. Why not D would mean there is some way that you got D as the answer. Now, what is that way that you should think about? What is choice D? Let me see. Choice D is, one second, 1 minus 0.8 to pi. Oh, plus. Oh, see, this is an and, isn't it? You have to clear D1 and D2. Why would you add? You add if there's an or, if there's a choice. Clear this or clear that. You don't have the choice. If you want to go to D3 in the third quiz, you have to clear both of them. I hope that is clear. Okay. Yeah, sometimes people do get confused, but the best way to think about it is, where do you have fewer possibilities, because you have to consider all of them. So wherever it's fewer, that's the smarter place to go. Prakhar, I don't know if you can tell, you were the first one to mark the right answer, but yeah. Okay, both got it. All right, perfect. Manish rushed. Good that you realized you've rushed. Rushing is a big problem. Quant से डर नहीं लगता. I don't know. I think if everybody is Indians, then they'll all understand. That first says your talking style is amazing. Thank you. I enjoy talking so much. I think that's the energy that comes out. When I see interaction in the chat, that's what comes out here. If the group is completely silent, I might also lose my energy. So thank you to you guys. Okay, good. Then I think we're all good to go to the next one. If you're confident about this one. The next one is question number 3. Poll should be here. All the best. Oh, accuracy is 17% this time. Okay, that's my cue to be slow with this one. Again, this was the question I used for the teaser. For some people did try the question even when they had no solution there. So that was very nice. So if any of those people are here, I really like that effort. So what do we have? Again, piece by piece, completely relaxed. Abe, Beth, Carl, A, B, C, each start to write a science fiction book. They've started to write the book. Their individual probabilities for completing their books are this. So it's not a surety that they will finish the book that they start writing. That's why. So, for example, Abe, it's a half chance, 1/2. So 50% chance that she finishes what she writes. For Beth, it's 20% chance of finishing it. And for Carl, it's 25%. Now, once they finish the book, that's one side done. If it's a completed science fiction book, it has a 20% chance of getting published. Any book now. They did not say that Abe's book has this much of a chance and Beth's book has this much of a chance. No. Any book that is completed and it's a science fiction book, it has a 20% chance of getting published. You complete it, one thing, it gets published, the next thing. What is the probability that B or C but not A? So this time it's a mix of the concepts that you've seen till now. You see an or, you see an and, both of them in the same question. So we'll have to break this properly. Probability that B or C but not A will get their book published. So either Beth will get her book published or Carl will get his book published, but Abe's book will not get published. Now, not getting published does not mean Abe completed the book. Okay, never make that assumption. It's just that finally it didn't go through. The reason could also be not completing the book only. I'll explain it. So listen. First, these are the probabilities that we had. This is the given. So from that, those four sentences that you see, this is what we've extracted. Now, what is to be found out? Beth or Carl, but not Abe, will get the book published. This is the entire event that you have. Now, it's a long event. It has or, it has and, it has everything. It's better to break it down into pieces. How? Look. So Beth or Carl, that's event number one. Abe's book not getting published, that's another event. That's event number two. And I want both of these to happen. Both how? Beth or Carl should happen and Abe should not happen. So both things I want. There's not a choice. So that's a multiplication between these two. Now I'm just going to call them. This is B or C, written very in a very compact form, and this is not A. This is event one, and that is event two. I want these probabilities. Okay. Now event one, I'll start with that. This now will feel very similar to the concept questions that you've done, that it's just an or, but it's not just about completing the book this time, it's also about getting the book published. So it's one level up. So event that you have is probability of B plus C minus both. This is the formula that you got from a previous question. But what is B? B is Beth's book getting published, not just completed. So remember when you write that. So if I'm focusing on PB, then I have to think of both things. One, Beth completes the book and then it gets published also. Okay, so what's the probability of completing the book? I know that is 1/5. For publishing, it's 20% for everyone. So that's 1/5 again. You multiply, it's 1/25. For Carl, again, complete the book and get it published. So completing is 1/4, publishing is still 1/5. You multiply 1/20, B and C now. This is the individual probabilities you multiply, because and is multiplication, right? It's independent events. I'm going to use another word here. When two events are independent of each other, that is, this thing happening will not affect the other thing, then you can just multiply if it's an and. Now, Beth's book being completed or published, that does not mean Beth will stop Carl from completing his book, or from his book getting published. So that is not going to happen. They're independent. So this way, I get this calculated probability of event one is 11 over 125. I hope you guys got this part. 61% of the people went with B. Oh, wow. So I will see what B exactly is. It's 9 over 200. Okay, so a lot of you got there. Understood where you got wrong. So that's from a previous question. So tell me, come on, everybody, did you understand this part of the question till here? Probability of event one, quickly. Just type a Y for yes. Let's just be very fast with the comments. Okay. Priyanshu, you went with C. No, that is different. If you made a mistake or if you were correct, what is the correct answer? The correct answer is this only. So yours is anyway correct. People who did not get it, tell me if you understood this. Okay, the first Y came Shivendu Shekhar. Good. Why subtract and conditions? Akshay, I had shown why subtracting happens because you double count the common elements. The B and C part is calculated in B also, it's calculated in C also. So we subtract that. We've seen that. Okay. Okay, we have lots of Y's now. Good. Now, event 2. Probability of event 2 is Abe's book does not get published. If I directly think of the possibilities in which it does not get published, there are multiple ways. One, she did not complete the book only. Two, she completed the book, but it did not get published. So, two ways there. So, there, two cases. Flip side, only one case. It did get published. So, again, one is less than two. So, I'm going to do that. So, probability of the non event will be that she completes the book and the book gets published also 1 by 2 times 1 by 5, and I subtract this from 1. So 9 by 10 is the next step. Finally, there was nothing. Event 1 and event 2, you just had to multiply, and that's it. The correct answer is C. Now, B, where people did 9 upon 200. Vivek says we will not consider Carl. We have considered Carl in event 1. It was B or C, remember? So there's B plus C minus B and C. How did you guys get 9 upon 200? Tell me that in the chat now. What was the exact mistake you made? Because that's a big faltering point. So many of you did that. If you get 1 upon 20 from event 1, that's when you do that, and I think that's what happened. Getting 1 upon 20, I think, let me see which step you did that on. Yes. So if I do 1 by 5 plus 1 by 4, that's 9 by 20. 9 by 20 minus I subtract 1 by 20, 8 by 20. That's also not 1 by 20. What happened, guys? Come on, tell me in the chat. How did you get 9 by 200? What was the exact step that you made a mistake on? This is the correct solution. I'm showing it to you for reference. Yeah. 61% is a big percentage. So 61% people doing that, that means there's a very big trap and you need to identify what that trap was. Okay, reading your comments, come on. This is this sprint's last question. After that, we'll have another sprint. So we will conclude that with proper discussion. To tell me very nicely what happened. Hurry up. Emanuela, Saksham, you were all good till the first event. If you were good to the first event, Shivendu says got confused with Beth or Carl and then added both. This is the final slide, Akshay. Saksham says A did not complete the book, multiplied by B or C completed the book, multiplied by published. Oh, so you thought of all of the published at once. That's the mistake. Now I'll show you exactly where the fault happened. Good. Good to recognize what your ideology was and why that was wrong. See here. If I look at the publishing, it happens with a 1 by 5 here for Beth, 1 by 5 here for Carl, 1 by 25 here for Beth and Carl. Why? Because the 1 by 5 from here and 1 by 5 from here both get multiplied. But if you do it once and for all at the end, then you don't have that 1 by 25 at all. You have 1 by 5 throughout. I hope everybody understood the mistake in that. If I'm saying Beth's book got published and Carl's book got published, you can't just say Beth or Carl, first of all, completing the book and publishing it once. It's not one entity that is being published. Individually, their books are being published. So even if there's an and, you have the 1 by 5 publishing in Beth's side separately and for Carl's side separately. You just ignore that. That was the mistake. Is A union B same as A or B? Yes, Jivesh, that is the same. Okay, good. I hope we're all clear with this now. This was the end of sprint one. Question number three. Just finish sprint one for us. Tell me, how do you guys feel? Do you feel more confident about this now? Or do you at least find out where you were lagging? What is it that you need to work on? Saksham understood the difference now. Wonderful. So, Saksham, just see that this one mistake that you made right now, you can be sure that if you revise, if you note this error down, then you're not going to make this mistake again. And that's the whole deal. That's how one improves, finding out about mistakes and not repeating them. Bookmark my brain. Great question. Yes, I also love this question. That's why this went into the teaser. This is the favorite one that I have. Okay, now just a quick recap about the slides, about the sessions that are coming for you in the coming weekend. I don't know if Juhi, you put the details the last time. So this is coming Saturday, RC, and then there is geometry on Sunday. Both of them, we will help you do 700 level questions and beyond using a structured approach. Nothing to memorize. So geometry, I'll see you again on the quant side of it, and RC expert will be there. So the links to register for the session are there in the chat. Now, after this, we are getting into the second sprint. This is again application, but these questions are harder. Not because you're going to see longer questions really, but if you got the learnings out of the three questions that we just did, then these questions should not be hard, will not be hard. So just be careful, okay? So the link will be here in seconds. All the best. Okay. The accuracy is 60%, so that way it looks as if it's a better accuracy, but very few people could even respond in this extra time. So this is not 600, 700. Sprint 2 will be 700 plus level. That's what I told you, right? So these are harder questions, 700 and beyond. So again, let's discuss what happened here. In a business school, 4 out of every 5 students and 2 out of every 3 international students are male. So these are basically two big groups that I'm seeing. One is all of the students at once, in which 4 out of every 5 students are males. Another is a smaller group, which is just international students, not all the students. Among the international students, 2 out of every 3 are males. So first of all, understand what is happening. Try to visualize this. One is the whole student body, and one is a part of it, international students. Now, if a student is selected at random, probability that the selected student is an international student is zero point 0.3. What will this help me do? It will help me figure out that if the total students are 900, then international students are zero point 0.3 of 900. I can find out number of international if I know total. If the total number of students is 1000, well, you have that number. Two students are selected at random. What is the probability that at least one of them will be female international? Now, this looks huge. It feels as if there's so much to do in this question. I think that's why you guys took so much time here. Tarun says it's a bit confusing. It's okay. What you need is the right way to represent information. So here is an important process skill that I'm going to talk about: visualizing. Draw flow charts, draw tree diagrams, so that you don't have to read this mess again and again. That's what I think this is. Make it very pictorial. Have a representation that you see and you know, okay, this is what this was, and you don't have to read the question again. That's how you can save time. See what I'll do. First, number of international students I can find out, because if total students were 100 and zero point 0.3 was the probability of a student being international, then how many international students? Zero point 0.3 times 100. Now look at this beautiful tree diagram. Total students, international and others, and in each of those categories, male and female. Now we'll start putting numbers to this. Total students I already know, 100, that's given in the question. International students I just calculated, 30, so that also comes here. If I know total and I know international, then others is what? 100 minus 30, 70 students. So till here I have so much. When I read that question, it didn't feel as if I would even have this much of information. But see how you'll keep getting stuff. Then you also have this information about 4 out of every 5 in all, and 2 out of every 3 international students being males. International, 2 out of every 3. How many international students do you have? 30. And if 2/3 of them are male, then it is what? 2/3 of 30, 20 males. If 20 are males, then 10 are females, because 30 was the total. That's it. Now, I don't know this fraction from the others, but I know what the total student body, what fraction of that is males. I know 4 out of 5, right? So if it's 100 students, then males would be 4/5 of 180. So if it's 80 total males, and I already have 20 males here, in the international student side, then 60 of them have to be in the other side. And if 60 are males out of 70 students, then 10 are females here. I have every single thing represented here in this tree diagram. I will never read the question again. So, Juhi has put the link for the process skills. Just how you saw visualization at play, there are other skills also to help you. I will talk about them further. But these skills of organizing data in a way that you understand what to do with it, that's very important. Otherwise, you'll be lost. What do I do with so much information? That's why you guys took so long, and even then, accuracy was not really, really pretty. Now, come to what the final question was. At least one of them will be female. I'm selecting two students, right? Think about it. At least one of them female has multiple possibilities, both females, one female international student and one other student, or two female international students, right? These are two cases. But the flip side is what? Both of them are true, right? So two cases. The flip side is no female international students. So that is one case. No female international students. So this is easier to calculate. So if I find the probability of this, of having no female international student, I'll just subtract that from 1. Now think about it. This no female international student, for that I have to understand how many female international students do I have. So this just shows that part of the tree diagram that I'm interested in, where you had international students and females. So it's 10 such students. Now, probability of selecting none of these 10 girls, 10 international females, I'm selecting out of the other 90 because total students were 100. So from this 90, I'm selecting 2 students. Probability 90 C2 upon 100 C2. So favorable is selecting 2 out of 90, total is selecting 2 out of 100. This now is the non-event. Don't forget to subtract it from 1. When you subtract it, the correct answer is C. Okay, Tarun says that was very quick. Yes, so once you represent data, it's really quick. I don't think I took as long to discuss as you took to solve it. Prakhar says I did 1/3 of 100 for international students instead of 0.3. Oh, so that way you got fractions. 1/3 is 0.33333, and we were so sweet, we gave you 0.3 so that you don't have to deal with any weird numbers. Moreover, people can't be in decimal, so that should have raised a red flag. Okay, wonderful, says Mahboob. I am glad that you guys are having fun with this. Time for one more question. And remember, you are going to have a quiz at the end of this. It will be a small homework exercise, something that I will test you on, something where it'll be your responsibility to get back and poll your answers, and that poll, check back later and you'll see how more and more people will have responded, more people than we have here in the session. So you should be able to then see that okay, only 30% people got it correct, I was one of them. Why? Because you did this session, so you have a greater chance of doing it. With this, now we are taking you to sprint 2, question number 2. Link will be here. All the best. Okay, time for the next question. Book my Bookmark my brain has a question. Uh 46% accuracy for the next one, by the way. So Anshuman will respond to you because I'll have to go to the next question. But the problem is at least one female international student, at least one of them. You are taking both female international students. That is what is happening. Okay, coming back here to sprint two, question number two. So this was a data sufficiency question, the first such question that you saw. So if you have trouble with data sufficiency, that could also be a reason for the accuracy being low. Not really you not understanding how probability permutation combination works. Again, I'll show you the power of visualization, how it becomes very good if you put things the right way. You make a tree diagram or something pictorial, because of which you will not have to read the question again. Okay. So STEM, a box, N shirts, 60% of them are white. I don't know what N the value is, but I know 60% of the total number of shirts is white. Three out of every four non-white shirts have a tailoring defect. So I don't know about tailoring defect in the white yet, but in the non-white, 75% of them have a tailoring defect. What percentage of the white shirts do not have a tailoring defect? So the one that I didn't know about, that's what the question is about. So first, see how this looks. 60% are white in color, and this was about all of the shirts. Then the non-white shirts will be how many? 40%. So that is what I am interested in for the tailoring part. But final question is about white shirts with no tailoring defect. So look at the whole scenario. Total shirts on top, you have white, you have non-white. Then in each of those, you have two possibilities: defective, not defective. Or you have a defect or you don't have a defect. Then start filling in numbers. So total shirts is N, that is given in the question. Then 60% are white, so 0.6 N. How many are non white? The remaining 0.4 N. Then in the remaining, the non white shirts, 3/4 have a defect. So how many have a defect then? Let me first get this side. 3/4 of 0.4 n have a defect. That's 0.3 n. So no defect for this will be 0.1 n. But on the white side, I don't know how many are defective. So I'll just call that x. So the remaining do not have a defect. Now, what do I want? White shirts that do not have a defect. So the highlighted part, white shirts that do not have a defect, 0.6 n minus x. This is what I want. So first of all, this diagram has made very clear what do I even want. I'm not lost. When I'll see my statements, I'll recognize quickly, do I have it or do I not have it? Now, percentage of white shirts that do not have a defect. So this time 0.6 n minus x was just the number that did not have a defect. So if I want the percentage, I'll have to put total white in the denominator multiplied by 100. If you do a small simplification here, you do the division, you will see what you really need ultimately is x upon n. If somebody gave you either x and n both, or gave you the fraction x upon n, you will be able to get the value. So that's what is written here. We need x upon n or x in terms of n. Or of course, if you can get x and n both, that will also work, obviously. Now, first statement. If one shirt is selected at random from the box from all of the n, probability of it having a defect is 0.5. Now, probability of defective is 0.5. That means what? Total defective shirts upon total shirts, that is 0.5. Now, that will include white and non-white, everything, right? So, if these are all of the possibilities, then you think which one should it be? So, come in the chat, tell me, is it A, B, C, D? Which one am I looking for? I will only be able to wait for 10 seconds because the session has already gone on for pretty long. If I don't get the answer till then, I'm going to tell you. Defective as a whole, the probability of that is 0.5. Which one should it be here? White plus non-white upon total, white upon total, non-white upon total, white defect upon total. Okay, 10 seconds up. It's going to be all of them, white plus non-white, everything. So this is what the highlighted part is. So it's x plus 0.3. Okay. No, Priyanshu, how is it 4? That is just white defect upon total white. Prakhar, yes, A is the one. I told you before, you guys could write. So x plus 0.3n upon n. This is what 0.5 is. If you do a simple calculation, you are really getting x by n, which is what you wanted. So I've written that here on top also so you don't forget. X by n if I have, then the first statement is sufficient. Yeah, good Priyanshu, Shivendu, you're right. So statement 1 is sufficient. That means which choices can I reject? I can reject B, C, E. Okay, so I only have A and D left. Now it's time to go into statement 2. Now, so it is 2. It's a typo that it says 1. The statement has changed. Probability that a shirt with defect will be white. So this time the possibilities, the total that you're taking is all of the shirts with defect. That's your denominator. From those, white is one section that you're taking. That will be the numerator. Probability for that is 2 by 5. That means white defective upon total defective is 2 by 5. Ruben says, isn't this easier with an overlapping sets graph? So, yes, you can try that, of course. You can have white with defect, definitely. Methods are many. You just have to be structured. Also, it is taking time because I'm explaining all of this. When it comes down to doing it on your own, it barely takes time. Even if you do it in a set method, drawing those overlapping sets, you will still have to write down what you need, right? You will still need a variable somewhere. Now, this place you get n upon x if you simplify it. If you can get n upon x, you can of course get x upon n. So even here you are getting what you wanted. So statement 2 is also sufficient. Correct answer is D. So 46% was the, yeah, 46% was the accuracy. 54% of you had gotten this wrong. I hope you're now clear. Okay, Ruben is clear about it. Good. So very well done, everyone. Tell me in the chat, how do you feel about it now? Do you feel slightly more confident? Do you feel like, okay, now show me a question, I want to at least try? That fear factor should have reduced. I am going to give you a homework question. I think Juhi already wrote about that in the chat. Stay tuned for that homework question. You will have to then poll your answers there and you'll see how you are performing compared to all of the people in general, the other GMAT aspirants who will take that poll. Okay, I will still show you the question here on screen and you will find that in, okay, this is the link, Juhi. Here's the one. Yes, so you see the link in the chat already. It's called probability homework question. That is where you will go and poll your answers. Okay, otherwise we will never get the data, we will never get the accuracy. When you poll, you will be able to see how other people have responded or what's the accuracy and so on. Emanuela, thank you very much. Thank you for attending. I'm glad you liked it. The question link is there. I'm moving to the next session, next slide. Yes, these were 700 level questions. Quant 2.0 trial, reminding you again, if you're not a student, you've got to try this. That's when you'll see the real power of personalization. Process skills, as I said, very powerful. I showed you how consider all cases is super powerful, how visualization works wonders, how you constantly infer information, you take meaning out of it, how you translate your English to math, you keep simplifying what you have. Every skill you've seen at play in such a subtle way, you didn't even realize you were using all of these skills all the time. But this is precisely what is the gap between concepts and application. There are so many people who know the concepts, but when it comes to questions, they're blank. They don't understand, how do I apply this? This is the gap. This is what you need to fix. Link is there for a playlist on process skills. Every single process skill we've covered in detail. You'll see 3 to 4 to 5 examples on each skill till the time it becomes second nature to you. Why it's so important? It's valid throughout Quant, not just one topic, everywhere. So you'll get video lessons there. Reminding you for our upcoming sessions again, RC masterclass on Saturday and geometry the very next day on Sunday. Okay, so to conclude, make sure your concepts are there. There's no gap in your concepts. Then you solve questions step by step. Don't take shortcuts. They will not work every time. You will not feel confident. Actively read questions, read it in chunks, and keep, taking out whatever you can take out of it. Infer and translate and everything. Go piece by piece. Never let a question scare you. The test maker will never throw something that you've never seen before. It is math that you have seen before. He will not throw anything that you just cannot solve. So you have to trust yourself, you have to trust the test maker also, and believe in your skills. Ultimately, I really believe that 50% of the thing is confidence. If you've studied everything, you've prepared, but in the exam when you go, you're scared, you will make those mistakes that you would never make otherwise. Never do that. Be confident. Once you're in the exam, just be all in and say, okay, now this is what I've got, I'm going to give it everything. All the very best. I will see you again in another session. Thank you for these wonderful comments. Tarun, coordinate geometry. We will plan a session on this if that is in demand. Let me know any other sessions. You can always type in the chat in the comments after this session ends also. J Rock says, great explanation. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Amazing listening to you, says Prakhar. Thank you. Amazing having you here. Thank you, Emanuela. Thank you, everybody. See you again in another session. Thank you. Thank you, Mahboob. Thank you. Bye bye.